Hello, welcome to another edition of Sparky Help. This time connect a TNC-S to an outbuilding of any description. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much. So why is it important to worry about this? So it's probably the worst thing that could probably happen. So here we have a supply, a TNC-S installation. There's an incoming supply going to a consumer unit and connecting to a socket. And what we do, we bond everything together in general and we create something called an equipotential zone, which creates an equal voltage. Therefore, if anyone was in there, then they were to touch anything that was metalwork, be an exposed conductive part, an extraneous conductive part, or any other part that could become live, because we've connected them together, they would all be assumed to be at 0 volts, and therefore, because there's no potential difference between them, so no voltage difference between them, no one would receive an electric shock, so it's not a problem. And this is what we try to do to create an ADS, an automatic disconnection supply. That's what we try to achieve within our regulations. But what happens if we get a fault? Now, I'm not talking about a fault that potentially goes bang, although that would cause it and that would disconnect, but even a fault that took 5 seconds, that fault would be there for 5 seconds. But I'm talking about faults that might not be enough current to disconnect for whatever reasons. It might be a slightly faulty appliance, a slightly faulty installation, or whatever it happens to be. What can then happen is the CPC, the earth within that building, can go up in voltage. But again, this doesn't matter. It could go up to whatever voltage it happens to go up to. And whatever you then touch, because they're all connected together, they all become the same voltage. Therefore, when you touch them, nothing happens. And this is very similar to birds that sit on overhead power lines. The power lines might well be 400,000 volts, but they would quite happily sit on them, providing they don't touch anything else. They are none the wiser that what they're sitting on is at a very high voltage, and this is true within this building here. So now what we'll do, we'll take a supply outdoors, to whatever. It could be another building, it could be to a socket, it could be an EV charger or anything else. So here we've taken the supply out, we've connected the line, the neutral and the CPC into the existing supply and fused it accordingly. Now what happens, someone could touch the exposed conductive part. You get the idea that they touch the CPC from that building. This CPC, because it has come from another building, that has a fault in it, this voltage is at 110 volts. So they're touching something that's 110. Because they're not in the equipotential zone anymore, they're standing on the ground. And the ground could well be at a different potential. Remember, potential is voltage. And in this case, they're actually very close to the transformer which supplied them in the first place, which has an added effect as well because it's going to make the current path a little bit easier to pass through. So what happens now is that current can flow through that person and it will go to the star point of that transformer. Now, I'm not saying it's going to kill them, but you never know. It might be a slight tingling sensation. They might feel a bit weird. They might feel, running around bare feet and they're feeling a slight tingling through their feet because the ground's damp or otherwise. And therefore, this is potentially dangerous. So here we try it again, but this is an alternative that can happen. Is we touch this, it's not a problem, we'll create the equipotential zone, assumed to be 0 volts, and we'll put an outside supply in, and we could put it in, and potentially nothing may happen because there is no difference potentially in this case. But this time we get a break in the pen conductor, and because there are other supplies further up, the return path now, because it can't go through the pen conductor, will be through their extraneous conductive parts and through their earth, and could well now go through the CPC, because all it wants to do is go back to that star point of the transformer. So now current from somewhere else, or it could be within the building itself because you've lost the pen, so anything that's turned on within the building could be the same, and it could now flow through the CPC to the socket outdoors or the supply outdoors, which someone could be touching, and because they're close to the transformer, they could form that path. So that again could be potentially dangerous for that person. So these are quite serious things to happen. What does our regs say about it? Well, these are from the BS 7671, so we've got one there, 708. The Electricity Safety Quality Continuity Regulations prohibit the use of a PME facility in leisure accommodation vehicles in a caravan. So caravan parks are not allowed to have a PME supply, and they would be connected from, let's say, a 16 amp socket like that. So we don't want them in. So caravan parks, Electricity Safety Quality Continuity Regulations, that's what the electricity company worked to. That was formerly known as the supply regs, a bit easier to remember. Here's another one, that this one cannot be connected to a PME of a metal boat, so that is onshore unit in inland navigation vessels, so barges and the likes, again, not allowed a PME. Here's another one, not required to have a PME unless you can meet certain conditions. It is continually under the supervision of a skilled or instructed person, so that's an electrician all the time, and you've got to make sure that it is reliably connected to earth all the time. So if not, you can't have a PME installation. So where's that from? Exhibitions, shows and stands. Here's another one then. PME shall not be used in this unless it is reliably connected to earth. So that's construction sites. It's not saying you can't have one, it's just you have to make sure that everything is earthed continually on a construction site, and that's nigh on impossible. So the scaffolding, you've got to bond it and they can constantly move it around and everything else, so it's not. There are others within the regulations that are not allowed to be used, so marinas, for instance. Electric vehicle chargers, it doesn't say you can't, but there is a particular section that says one method is to do what we are talking about now. So what do the regulations have to say? Well, they say where a number of installations have separate earthing arrangements, i.e. you go into an outbuilding, any protective conductor that is common to these shall be capable of carrying the maximum fault current. As you can see, the fault current path could flow through them. So the armoured cable that was going out, that now has to be sized the same size as your earthing conductor. So if that's a 16 mil, then the armouring has to be an equivalent to 16 mil as well, which, bear in mind, you might have only put a 4 mil or a 6 mil cable out there for your live conductors. You've now got to run a bigger cable or a separate earth to provide that fault current path. So that's one way you can get over it, and that's run a much bigger earth for the just in case moments. Otherwise, what it says on here is you can be insulated from the earthing arrangements of the installation where it comes from. And it's that one that we're going to concentrate on now in the latter circumstances. So if you're going to isolate from the original earthing system, the protective conductor forms part of the cable. The protective conductor shall be earthed only in installation containing the associated protective device. What does that look like? Well, here's our TNC-S, and as always, draw it as a single phase because it's just easier. We're going to put the line conductor in. I'm not going to any specific load of any description, so it could be a socket, could be an entire building. I'm not showing the protection, I'm just showing the point of connection where it goes in. And we're going to put our neutral in, and we're connected to a TNC-S. And this is the important part. The cable that we run out, so whether it be an armoured or otherwise, you take the earth with you, but you do not connect it. And we label everything up as we always do, which you can see here. So we've got the earthing conductor, and what we now need is a separate earth. So we create a TT installation at your point of load. So we're going to put an earth electrode in to provide your own equipotential zone effectively, so your voltage will be common to you at that point, and therefore you have got no other stray voltages that could come in from another earth. So we would create this again at this point, and like I say, in this case then the armoured, you wouldn't terminate it as normal. If you'd either terminate it into a plastic box or maybe into a compression gland but not continue the earth through. So there's no point running an extra core in the earth in the armoured cable if that's what you're going to do. So the armouring would be perfectly sufficient in most cases anyway. And like I say, the important part, not to connect as per the regulations. And we put another earthen conductor in, so again, because the earthen conductor may well be buried, this could end up being a 16 million size pure and simply because you've buried it. But at least you're not running the distance back to the existing installation. But what would happen if you got a fault halfway along that cable? Bear in mind you've disconnected the earth. Well, we have got up here an overcurrent protective device, and I've said it's with additional protection. So additional protection is a 30 milliamp RCD, and it's connected at that point. And we've got a fault, so someone's maybe dug your cable up and they've put a spade through it, and as they cut through the earth and hit the line conductor, and we create a fault. Obviously, it's something that's going to go bang, but current will flow in this direction and back through the armouring, of which your overcurrent protected device will either go, if that's what you've got, or your RCD will pick this up and disconnect it. But what happens if you have a fault in the outside now, aligned to your newly created earth, your TT part? Well, current will flow, providing you've got enough resistance there, or not enough resistance, depending on how you want to view that. So we develop a fault. Current, therefore, will flow from the original building, down your earthen conductor, through the earth electrode, and through to the earth, back to the star point of the transformer. This then solves the problem of exporting a stray voltage and or picking up anything else, because you're completely isolated from it. Because you've created your own earth path. So I hope this has been helpful. Please thank me in any way shape you can, but please like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much.